One of the biggest technical advances in professional cycling today is peppered around the peloton in front of us. But it's not made of carbon fibre, nor is it moulded into a teardrop shape. Yet it's arguably had a bigger impact on rider performance in the last decade than any other technical innovation: clothing.
We're going to compare two types of attire for you, both of which are being used in this year's race: a modern form-fitting jersey and short set and an aero-engineered custom one-piece suit.
To measure the difference, we of course need a benchmark. The most scientifically appropriate baseline is of course no clothing at all.
No.
To measure the difference, we of course need a benchmark. The jersey and shorts combo is going to serve as ours.
I suppose having a separate top and shorts does have a couple of upsides. The pockets can be loaded with food before it's donned, and it's a setup ideal for pre-race toilet visits.
Really?
On the bike too, it has advantages. It can be fully unzipped when climbing for an extra bit of cooling.
But does that convenience come at a price?
Whilst Dan is riding, to ensure the only thing we're measuring is the difference in clothing, we're capturing his outline, and that's the template he'll need to fit into for the many repeat tests we'll be doing to ensure our results are valid. We've got him riding on a TT bike too, simply to get position consistency at a speed of 48 k's an hour, which, apart from mountain days, is the average speed the riders sustain in the last 50 k's when the racing is really on. In this setup, his power demand to ride at our test velocity, clad in his two-piece combo, is 312 watts.
Now, what about the tricked up suit? Is this garment really so much better than already form-fitting Lycra?
You can't change the human form, which is pretty rubbish from an aero perspective, sort of a collection of cylinders. But with a scientific understanding of what's happening in the air as it meets the body, that interaction can be managed. For example, using textures and small shape changes, some turbulence can be introduced, which sounds counterintuitive, but that tiny bit of surface chaos helps air stick to the suit a little longer, and so reduces the weight Dan is leaving, decreasing his drag. It's hard to believe such small changes can make a difference, but as you can see, despite superficial similarities, the high-tech clothing has increased his speed by 5% for the same power output. In fact, to put that in perspective, in a head-to-head contest over a typical Tour stage distance of 175 kilometres, he'd arrive over 11 minutes ahead of his traditionally clad self. Whilst good, Dan's suit is commercially available and not quite as sophisticated as some of the cutting-edge garments used by the pros, some of whom have taken this even further and started tuning their clothing, optimising it for specific speed ranges such as sprinting and time trialling by using various interventions to manipulate the airflow around the athlete's cylindrical-shaped limbs. Lotto Soudal even used a textured gel on the rider's legs for the team time trial of the Dauphiné, which rang alarm bells with the UCI, who promptly banned the practice.
Whether your interest is passing, personal or professional, you could do worse than follow the example set by the July crowd. Microaerodynamics, it's a whole new fashion genre.